So, is it true that I don't need to know? It depends on what day you ask me and which Melinda you're asking. Because the toddler Melinda does need to know. And not only does need to know, but thinks she does know and gets really hacked off when the facts present themselves as something different from what she thinks she knows. We have been studying for the last couple of months this book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Book of Knowledge. And before I opened the book, I assumed, oh, he's a very wise person. He's going to give us all this knowledge that's really going to help us to be more spiritual. And actually, what he talks about in the Book of Knowledge is this idea that you were born with everything you need to know, with everything you are, with everything that's true. And the knowledge that you have been slowly adding to your book that gets heavier and heavier, that you carry around on your back with you, that knowledge is not truth. It's random facts that might have been true for a moment or might never have been true at all, that somebody said and somebody else agreed with and somebody else passed down to you. And we work from this idea that those are truths when that is not the truth. I'm going to read a little excerpt from his book. There is no need to justify what we are. There is no need to work hard to become what we are not. We just need to return to our integrity, to the way we were before we learned to speak. Perfect. As little children, we are authentic. When we are hungry, we only want to eat. When we are tired, we just want to rest. Only the present is real for us. We don't care about the past, and we aren't worried about the future. We enjoy life. We want to explore and have fun. Nobody teaches us to be that way. We are born that way. We are born in truth, but we grow up believing in lies. This is the whole drama of humanity, the whole problem. One of the biggest lies in the story of humanity is the lie of our imperfection. Hardly anyone can escape from the setup. We were perfect little children. We were innocent, and we ate the lie that we are not what we should be. And just as Eckhart Tolle said in the reading before, it's not about that we don't know. Not knowing is not a problem. Not knowing is the very center of all possibility. Not knowing is the beginning of awe. Not knowing is the beginning of wisdom. Until the moment that you think, but I should know, or I need to know, I won't be okay if I don't know. And that's where the problem lies. The Buddhists say that beginner's mind is the only way for you to enter into a spirit of nirvana. It's the only way for you to even begin on the path. You have to assume that you don't know, because all of the things that you already know are now unteachable. Any of you ever taught, any kind of class where you first had to unlearn what had been taught before so that you could start from a clean slate to start again? I worked as a voice teacher for many years, and I would have students come into my classes or my lessons who had been taught to do certain things that were not good for them. And I don't know, they taught each other, they passed it around. You go to any high school, it's like, well, if you drink lemon and then pour honey down your throat and then you, no, it's nothing to do with it. Let's go back. Let's go back to the voice, which doesn't need lemon or honey in order to operate. You were born that way. But to let go of these things that we have stacked up that we think are true so that we can get back to what's really, really true. We have to unlearn. It's a process often of unlearning. And here's the deal. We have the ability to get to wisdom. We have within us everything we need, which is the avenue of learning, which starts with beginner's mind. Beginner's mind means openness. If I haven't already made up my mind, I'm open to hear. I can actually hear what you're saying. If I've already made up my mind, I'm just formulating my argument against what you're saying. or formulating my agreement so I can one-up you after you finish talking. But if I don't know, I can listen. Beginner's mind also has a gentleness to it because we don't have anything to defend. You know, the moment we start defending, we really are on the offensive, right? So when we don't have anything to defend, we are able to be gentle and peaceful and present in a situation where the moment we have to start putting up our defenses, we are no longer in the presence. Beginner's mind has all possibility. Expert mind says these are the only ways it could possibly go. I've researched all of them heavily. I prefer A. B sometimes works. Don't even try C on your own. And there isn't a D. Right? That's what expert mind says. Beginner's mind says, you don't know, I don't know. Anything could happen. And if there's one thing I've learned in life is that anything could happen. Sometimes the times when I'm most sure of exactly how things are going to go. Anybody had given birth in here? Did you have a birth plan? You knew exactly how that birth was going to go. Oh, this is when this is going to happen, and this is when this is going to happen. Did your birth plan go according to plan? If it did, I want to come sit next to you and just talk and feel comforted. But I was talking to my granddaughter yesterday about her birth plan and how what happened was nothing like her birth plan, except for the fact that there was a baby at the end of it. And isn't that what the whole thing was for in the first place? You know, we let go of our plans and God does what God does anyway, and more beautifully than we could figure out, because God has the information that we don't necessarily have, or that we certainly are cut off to when we already have our plan in place. So beginner's mind, these are our avenues of learning. With beginner's mind, we have intuition. We have a direct connection to our own gut, which is always telling us information. If we're already expert and it disagrees with what our gut says, then we will talk our gut out of it or ignore it completely. We have this avenue of learning, though, called intuition. We have another avenue of learning, which is guidance. Not just guidance from our own inner self, but guidance from all of this God with skin on everywhere out here. Anyone that comes at you with love has something to teach you. Anyone who comes at you without love has something to teach you. Mostly what it can teach you is where your love fits in this situation. Not why they're wrong for not putting their love in it, but where you can open to put your love. So guidance of all kinds, divine guidance, earthly guidance, signposts, literal and metaphorical signposts. Whereas if we're already expert, we may not read the signs. The other thing that we have in beginner's mind, the other thing that we have is humility. We have a sense of our place in the world, which, if we are in our right place in the world, which is that we are a part of. We are not below, we are not above. We are not, I am the expert and let me teach you what you don't know because I know. And we are not, I couldn't possibly know what you know because I'm just a lowly whatever human being, which is what everyone else is, right? So true humility, not humiliation, but true humility, knowing our place in the world. Knowing our place in the world. So that's what we have. We have these avenues of learning. We have beginner's mind, intuition, guidance, humility. We have the gift of wonder and awe, because when we haven't made up our mind, we get to be surprised. And when we're surprised, we're often surprised by joy. And when we're surprised by joy, we get to go, oh, wow. We also get to go, thank you. Thank you. You see how expert mind can keep us out of wow and thank you? I already know. I don't need to thank you. I've figured this out for myself. Why would I thank you? I've got it under control. Right? So that's what we have. We have all these avenues. But here's the problem. What we want. What we want assurance. We want certainty. We want, as I used to tell my mother, a written guarantee. I wanted a written guarantee. You don't get those in life. You don't get those in life. We want certainty because certainty feels like security. It's not security. It feels like security. It feels like if I already know that I don't have to take any risks. If I already know I don't have to risk being wrong. I don't have to risk being surprised or made a fool of. We want assurance and certainty. We do. As humans, I want to know. And there are all of us want to know. All of us want or need a measure of security. But, I grew up in a household where things were pretty out of control. And it was really scary. And one of the ways that I adapted as a young child, as a teenager, was to go, okay, everybody else looks a little shaky, so I am going to get the ducks in a row, and here are how they're going to be, and I'm going to hold on tight to them, and this is my security. I can't trust all that out here, but I got my stuff together, and this is my security. Here's my report card to show you that I'm doing everything right. So if you ever question me, I can say, well, actually, if you look back at my report card, you will be able to see that I have been doing things right. I've been getting straight A's all along, metaphorically, as well as literally in school. But I had this idea, if I pile up enough good works, then when somebody accuses me of not being good, I will have something to prove to them that I really am after all. Ask me if anybody ever went up and said, well, I don't know, not sure how I'm feeling about you. Can I see your report card? Never, ever, nobody cares. Nobody cares because people take us as we come to them in the moment. And so there is no security in the moment other than the security of knowing that we can let go because we'll never have control, but there is a presence and a power in the universe, and it is called love. And because it is love, not saying it's going to feel good in every moment or that we're always going to agree with the path that love is taken, but when we understand that it is love, then we can let go. When she said, I can let go because God knows, I can let go because love knows. And love is not separate from me. It's in here as well. I'm a part of the bigger love, but I have the constant connection with that big love right here at hand at all times. And all I have to do is join in. So we have these wonderful avenues of learning, beginner's mind. We want assurance, and so we trade. We trade the avenues that work in order to try to get assurance. And when we do that, we do lose those things. We develop an expert mind. I already know all there is to know. Don't give me any more information, please. Have we seen that on the news? I don't want to hear anything else. Don't tell me, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind is made up. That's what's happening in our world right now, and we can see how dangerous it is. But what we don't always see is we see how dangerous it is in other people, but we don't always see how dangerous it is in us. Oh, but my mind's made up too. The difference between me and you is that I'm right. Right? Is this not the way we tend to go through the world? That's how we get on teams and we team up against each other and forget that we're all on the same team. We are all on the same team. There's no opposing team, y'all. There's no opposing team. So we trade, and when we trade, we decide to build lies, to build excuses, to build proofs and cases and alibis. That's that report card. And those become walls around our hearts and minds. And when we build those walls, then we gain false pride, false security, and a false sense of self. I've lost who I really am, which is this innocent child who actually wants to love and trust everything and listen and learn and grow and be awe-inspired. But that started feeling dangerous to me at some point, and so I decided, nope, this is what I know, and those things that I know are working fine for me, and I don't want to know anything else. that might make it difficult. And so we have a wall built up. And when we trade what we have and what we know for security, here's what we lose. We lose our humility. We lose our place in the world. And man, whenever you are higher than other people in your mind, they know. And they're not going to respond well to that. Whenever you are lower than other people in your mind, they know. And unless they're really kind, they're going to take advantage of that. And so we create this hierarchy. We lose our true humility and we start creating hierarchies. We are neither higher nor lower than anyone else. When we think we know what other people don't know, we have a superiority over them. And the thing is, the word think. We think we know. But do we know? Do we know? Even if we're charitable in our thinking, oh, you poor people, you don't know as much as I do, so I'm going to take care of you. I'll handle it. Let me see if I can fix you. Do you like it when people do that to you? And it's unspoken. Surely you don't say that. I mean, some people might say that, but surely you don't say that, but people know. So we lose that humility, and when we lose our humility, we lose our peace, because then we're always on the lookout. Who's higher? Who's lower? Who am I going to be taken advantage of by? Who can I lord it over? And in of course, the most kind and loving, enlightened, despot kind of way, right? Now, there's all of this confusion rather than I'm a person, you're a person. What's going on right now? There's a simplicity to that. I'm a person, you're a person. We are all in the family of God. We are all beings of love. What's going on right now? Can we meet at that spot? We lose our peace. We lose our humility, and that helps us lose our peace. We lose our peace because we think we must know, and we develop a contentious way of viewing the world, a contentious way of being in the world. When we lose our peace, we lose our access to our intuition. We don't lose our intuition, but we can lose our access to our intuition. We can tell our gut to shut up enough times that our gut just like murmurs at us and goes, you're not going to listen anyway, so I'll make a little murmur and then I'll go away. We have to, when we know, we no longer entertain the question, right? So we lose our intuition, and when we lose our intuition, we lose our ability to trust our intuition. Because how do we trust? We act and we see what happens. I like to say, you can trust anyone to be who they've shown you they are, to do what they've historically done. Does this mean people can't change? No, it does not. And I think we're going to talk about that next week, about what change and transformation means. But it does mean that if you're smart, you're going to watch that change to see if it's temporary in order to get something, or if it's truly a transformation. You're not going to say, trust somebody because of what they tell you, because words are easy and can be taken back. So we lose our intuition, we lose our trust in ourselves. We lose our trust in the messages that our own gut is sending to us. We lose our trust in other people, even if they are safe people and might be helping to remind us of our truth. If we've set ourselves up in this hierarchy of who knows what and who doesn't know what, then we cease to listen. I think that's why Jesus said, if you want to get to heaven, you got to come as a little child. Don't come in with your report card filled out and your dissertation ready to defend. Just come in and go, wow, heaven, what's this like? Wouldn't it be nice to live that way? And when we lose that intuition and trust, we lose our connection to guidance. That's our inner guidance. We lose our connection to guidance from other people because we no longer trust them to know what we know. We've already decided what we know. And honestly, here's the deal. We can't ever know. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. I don't want to not know. When I know, then I know what to do, and then I can do that, and then I can get the guaranteed result, which does not happen Y'all, this is what's going on in my life. I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic 3.5 months ago, and it really hacked me off because I usually eat well, but I was aware. Bob was in the hospital at that time. We literally had been eating fast food. I'd been eating Dairy Queen blizzards because we were in the hospital and we deserved a blizzard. You know? So it's like, okay, this is not a clear snapshot of who I really am. I'm going to get it tested again in 3 months. I'm going to follow the low-carb diet and the low-fat diet, and I'm going to go, this is who I really am. And I had it tested again, and I was still pre-diabetic, and my cholesterol went up without a single blizzard or chicken nugget. Now, I know that's not the way that's supposed to work. I cried for 3 days, like a toddler. That's not the way it's supposed to work. I did the right thing, and it didn't work. Well, I did what I did, and it didn't work, so maybe it wasn't the right thing. Maybe there's more that needs to be done. Maybe there's a deeper level. Maybe there's something unexplored yet. I wanted to do what I thought I knew to do and get her done. Get that thing fixed. And it's not going to be a quick fix, apparently. I mean, I'm trying to avoid taking drugs. If I have to take drugs, I'll take drugs, but I'm trying to do this with avoiding taking drugs. Same thing with, Bob's health journey. In the beginning, I was like, we got to know what this is so we can know how to treat it and stomp it out. That was really what was going on with me. And sometime about June, sometime about the time I was settling into my sabbatical, I realized we may not know. We may not know for a long time. We may never know all the facts. And so we better just settle down and pay attention. What is needed today? What's needed today? What seems to be indicated today? And is that the way I prefer to live? No, I want to know. And I want it fixed. And yet my inner wisdom was able to go, that's not the way life works. It's nice when we can pretend it is, when something works out for us, so we can pretend it is, but it's generally not the way life works. We can't ever know. We can only know our own perception. We can only know our own point of view. We can only know how it feels for us. We can only know what it is in this moment. We can only know the lies that we've made up in our heads if we're not aware that we've been making up lies in our heads. And we will never have the whole picture as long as we are individuations on this earth. Right? And so why would I think I have the whole picture? Why would I try to have a whole picture? With I don't know, we lose our human certainty and we regain divine possibility. And which would you rather have? Your human certainty, which we know is wrong a lot of the time, or divine possibility, which is ever present and can surprise us at any moment. Divine possibility is what I want to live into. And then I can regain that without the need to know, without the need to be right, to get it right, to be sure. And when I accept divine possibility, I accept the power of wonder, the power of awe, of being truly surprised and overtaken by beauty. I get back the power of peace. If I don't need to know, I can let go and just pay attention to what happens. I get my honesty back. I don't have to make up something and defend it. I don't have to carry my dissertation, which always needs defense, right? And I regain my connection to my truth self and to others when I'm no longer putting myself on a different plane from the other people in my world. And here's what I know. There's always more going on than we think. And it is always helpful to stop belly gazing and look up at the splendor of the world, to look around at the beauty in all of the other expressions of God around us. Let's take that into meditation for a moment. Let's just settle into a prayer is what I'd like to do. So get yourself into a relaxed state of body to the ability that you can. Maybe hunch your shoulders up and then let them drop down so you can feel them really relax. Take in a deep belly breath and let it out. If there's any part of your body that feels tense, simply send it some love. I feel you. I'm sending the energy of love to that spot. And take a breath knowing that we are 100% present right here in this moment and no other. We don't have to figure anything out. There's no judgment. You don't have to be right. You don't even have to have a thought. And with no thought, there's no reason to judge it, right or wrong. We can just be. And when we come to this place of just being, it is very clear that we are not alone. We are just being with every other soul that just is, for we are part of the one soul. And we don't have to understand. And we don't have to explain. We can just claim a moment of peace. Divine Spirit, Mother, Father, God, presence of love and life in us. In this moment, we surrender to that higher knowing that we only ever get glimpses of, and yet that we can trust. I don't need to know the answers because love knows. Love knows because love is the answer. So if the question is love, the answer is love. And from that space, undefended, we're free to ask for help when we feel we need help. From our own hearts, from the God of our understanding, from the people around us. One of the most empowering statements we can make is, I need some help. And from that place of love and trust, we can give thanks for the beauty around us, for the love that we've seen, for the evidence of that love in the world, and more, for the trust that that love is there whether we can see it or not. And that anytime we don't see it, all we have to give is ours. And now there's love. And in that gratitude, in that allowing ourselves to know that all is well, comes the wow. I've been working so hard when perhaps I never needed to. Perhaps all that was ever asked of me was to be who I am. A being of love, born from love, into love, for the purpose of love. And when things here in our own tiny, tiny, tiny little lives that we get so caught up in start to feel too tight, we can look up and recognize that there is so much more going on, and that we are not separate from it. We are a part of it. Every bit of love is our love. Every bit of wonder is our love, is our wonder. Every bit of gratitude is our gratitude. Every bit of confusion is simply calling for our love. And since that's who we are, it is easy to give. And so we end this prayer on a word of love. My love, your love, our love, God's love, it's all one love. And so it is. Amen.